and welcome to North 100, a Canadian Highlander podcast. My name is Serge. Joining me today, we got a Nelly.
Hey, I'm here.
We got a Wheeler.
Yep.
I don't know why that broke me. We got a James on deck.
Yo.
A reminder that everything we do is brought to you by you with your support over at the Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. North 100 is also brought to you by our good friends at Card Kingdom. cardkingdom.com/LRR is an affiliate code. If there's any singles that you see in the set review that excite you, pick it up over there, and you can ask for a button, because that's cool and good. Welcome to our singular Avatar: The Last Airbender set review. So this seems especially important to bring up this time. So with our set reviews, these are not exhaustive. We don't talk about every single card that is in the set. We only talk about the cards that we think are going to make a splash or that we think you're going to want to talk about. And for the first time ever, I think we've condensed an entire set down to a single episode.
We've done like one-shot episodes for some of the like weirdo ones, like Warhammer 40,000 plus others. But no, they released this as a set.
So buckle up as we go through all of the colors and colorless and so on and so forth. And I suppose without further ado, let's jump into it with Appa, Steadfast Guardian. This is a 4-mana 3/4 legendary creature, buys an ally for 2 white. It has flash, flying, and when Appa enters, airbend any number of other target non-land permanents you control. Airbend is a new mechanic that you exile that permanent or that spell. It remains in exile and then can be cast for 2 generic later rather than its casting cost. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Wheeler.
This is a cool card. Airbend's a cool ability. And note that I use the word cool and not powerful. Being able to save your team from a mass removal spell, while also, I mean, you have to sacrifice the bison, depending on the removal spell, is a neat little trick. It does survive Bolt, so it has that Restoration Angel kind of stat line that make it a little appealing on a flash flyer, but that's 2015 talking and not 2025. Only having to pay 2 is kind of cool. Like, there are some shenanigans you can get up to with this card, but typically those shenanigans are best facilitated by 1-mana cards, not 4-mana cards. And making allies, like making tokens on casting these spells is not nothing. But this card, we've seen this style of card before. Not necessarily just like the ETB and Savior stuff. We have seen that. But also like these white mythics at 4 that can poop out little bodies and have some other like added utility, like Cemetery Protector from one of the Innistrads pops up. And much like what happened to that card, the game got a little faster. And 4-mana ain't what it used to be. You only get so many 4-drops, and are you going to want to spend your 4-drop on Alpha?
Yeah, the main shenanigan that comes to mind when I see this is just Overlord of the Haunt Wood or whatever, the white one? Yeah. Impending card, and it's like, oh wait, that's also 4-mana. Like you don't want to choke up your 4 slot.
Like, I played a mono white big white tokens list that was better than I expected. And this card could find a home in that because
I like it with Sol Ring, right?
Well, actually, like non-land permanence is pretty neat, right? Like it lets you save planeswalkers, lets you save sagas or enchantments kicking around, equipment.
Final saga trigger on the stack, flash and Appa.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of weird, cute shit you can do, right?
Yes, you can get cute with this card, but does cute win matches? Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
They're hoping it's going to sell Magic the Gathering cards, right? Like, certainly, I like that we're opening this, beautiful story. This show's Magic setup with like, hey, that cute flying bison, you can do a bunch of cute stuff with it.
Yeah, the only lore that wins Magic tournaments are lore counters put onto Urza's Saga. So
tough but fair.
Yeah. Hate to be that guy, but this bison's probably not making the cut.
Yeah.
Next up, Curious Farm Animals. This is a 1-mana 1/1 boar, elk, bird, ox. When this creature dies, you gain 3 life, 2, and sacrifice this creature. Destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Nelly.
We like. This is another copy of the Might that's not an artifact.
Haywire Might.
Haywire Might. So it doesn't get found by Urza's Saga, but it does get found by Knight Captain of Eos or Ranger of Eos. Even I've seen that card cropping up a bunch lately. Thanks, Ocelot Pride. Ranger of Eos, Antoine Ruel or whatever is stoked to see you get played. And so when you're already playing all those cards, probably putting in Curious Farm Animals in your deck is going to be correct in many situations. It also has 4 creature types because it represents an entire animal farm. George Orwell would be stoked. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you have a Haywire Mite in your deck, and like your way that you usually get it is your Urza Saga, you probably don't care. But if you don't, and you're already like, do I play Third Mom? Maybe it's like maybe you get Legendary Third Mom out for this thing.
Killing creatures is dope, right? Like this can kill artifact and enchantment creatures, which
they can also blow up Urza Saga.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah,
it's. Yeah, 3 life also. That's not nothing.
Not nothing. Actually, not nothing. Yeah, even
Gaffer trigger.
Even just from a density trigger, or from a density point of view in your white or white X deck that is looking for the utility of blowing up all of their important stuff, having the 1-drop that costs 2, as well as the 2-drop that costs 1 to activate when you're trying to blow up their equipment, kind of relevant.
I also like we've talked about 2 cards and we've mentioned Urza Saga twice.
Well, we play Canadian Highlander here.
That card's pretty good.
That card's often on the battlefield.
Do we go 3 for 3? Let's find out. Earth Kingdom Jailer. This is a 3-mana 3/3 human soldier ally for 2 and a white. When this creature enters, exile up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment an opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater until this creature leaves the battlefield. Wheeler.
Okay. Maybe we're not talking about this with Urza Saga. This one's kind of interesting. I've been playing a lot of Death and Taxes lately, and there's that deck is so funny because maybe I'm built different, but it's the kind of deck where people are like, you can't play D&T in a world with so much Jeskai and Barrogoyf and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. That is where you can. And one of the standout cards has been Brutal Cathar. Yep. A card that I think people exclude only because it has Daybound Nightbound on it. But I'm a sicko and I actually like playing with Daybound Nightbound cards.
Sure. Cut the tape.
And so that has, caused me to be like, actually, wait, are Fiend Hunters just like really good? Especially with all the different Mother of Runes variants running around. And so this card's kind of interesting because it does play a Fiend Hunter role, but also being able to exile, the One Ring, Citadel, the One Ring. You can target some pretty problematic cards that show up. And it has Ancient Tomb mana, and it's a human, and a 3/3. Like, it all kind of lines up so that there's enough good going for this that it's not an embarrassing card to play. I'm not suggesting this card is going to be a slam dunk in D&T, but it's one that I'm glad is on my radar because dealing with Barrogoyf, dealing with Murktide, Abhorrent Oculus, all these creatures is
maybe
pretty interesting.
If you're already on 2 human Fiend Hunters or even 3 human Fiend Hunters in your humans D&T, then maybe you're considering okay, I'm going to cut the core for this thing because I actually have a bunch of these effects.
Right.
I don't always have to be able to hit their creature, and I like the 3/3.
Yeah. It's the kind of card that I go, damn, Brutal Cathar is so good. What if I played another? And then you look at your other options and you're like, oh, well, this one at least has utility.
It has 3 power.
Yeah, 3 power.
Yeah.
Human, it lines up very well.
It reminds me of, I think it was called Phyrexian Censor. It's another 3-mana 3/3 for 2 and white. It's like if you play you can't play more than 1 non-Phyrexian spell per turn. It just shuts you out.
And non-Phyrexians come to play tapped, or all creatures come to play tapped. Yeah, similar. I mean, that's a card.
Just the 3-mana 3/3. You're like, okay. But then you see it in the shell, and you're like, oh,
yeah, that's a card that comes in and out, and in human specific lists, it doesn't really show up. Where I think this card would be kind of the flip, where it would come in and out, but in a list that doesn't care about Champion of the Parish and Thalia's Lieutenant, I'm probably not playing it.
That's fair. All right, next up, Invasion Reinforcements. This is a 2-mana 1/1 human warrior ally for 1 and white. It has Flash. And when this creature enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Nelly.
Hey, do you like that other card that's the same as this card? Now you can have 2. Hooray! It's the creature that makes a token. The other one's called Resolute Reinforcements.
Yeah.
Is that one also a human?
Yep.
Yeah, it's also human. Also has flash. Also makes that one makes a human. This one makes it a non-human ally, right?
No, the reinforcements makes a soldier.
Oh, makes a non-human soldier. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but it is a human.
Yeah.
So like you get one human.
They gave us another version of a card that shows up in Mardu tokens.
Yeah.
And occasionally in mono white decks.
Yeah. Or
redundancy.
Jeskai tokens. Yeah. Redundancy.
Yeah, redundancy.
Right. Not a whole lot to say about this card. You are going to see it on the tables. Like it does exactly what it looks like it does.
If there's anything this set is going to deliver, it's a card that you play occasionally as an ally.
Okay.
Sick. Cool.
Nice.
Next up, Suki, Courageous Rescuer. This is a 3-mana 2/4 legendary human warrior ally for 1 white. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. Whenever another permanent you control leaves the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Wheeler.
This is an interesting card. It is obviously a legend that gets Caracas and doesn't have an ETB. But you're in mono white. And so that's a deck. Like if you're playing this, you obviously need to have a lot of white pips going on. So mono white or like green white or Boros human / tokens. It survives bolts, which is very nice. And it boosts your team. Like you have an anthem. That
I just like
boost.
It boosts.
Did you just hear? Yeah, we turned into it,
buddy. They don't call this American Highlander. It's called Canadian Highlander.
Hey,
but we were like Scandinavian Highlander for a second there. Right?
Oh, you gotta play a Lord Bud. It boosts your team.
It boosts your team. Did I go boost?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, it's okay, bud. It boosts your team there, eh?
She just wants to go for a rip.
You know, but she just wants to send her. She just says, hey, no funny business. Get in there, eh?
Okay, we got to stop before we swear. Because the next Canadian thing you do, it's all curse words.
Yeah.
All right. So being able to buff your team is pretty powerful. That's not actually something we see that often on a playable Magic card.
Yeah, on cheaper threats, right? It's sort of like a 6-mana that makes all your soldiers better or something. You're like, cool.
I've kind of been wrestling with this card a bit because that second ability is not nothing, right? It says any permanent, not just non-token.
Lands. Yeah.
Fetch lands, cracking a clue, just one of your previous token dies, you get another token.
Creature dies in combat.
Yeah, downside is it only triggers on your turn.
Yeah.
But really, this is going to be funny. We don't really need to make Skull Clamp any better. But clamping something, it dies, and you immediately get another thing to clamp.
Once,
is pretty exciting.
It's pretty good.
Just once, yeah.
But still.
So I'm going to be trying this card out. I think it has enough good going for it that I'm interested in playing it in a more aggressive version of mono white or like white X.
I want to agree with your overall assessment that this is an interesting card. It has enough going for it that we'll try it. We're not guaranteeing it's going to become a staple or anything. You're seeing it in a deck that looks and sees this card and it's like, well, Adeline's also legendary, makes a 1/1 every turn and costs this much mana and dies to Caracas and big removal and it's legendary, like Caracas legendary. We said it a bunch of times. You don't have to say it in the comments. But I've also been seeing some black-white aristocrats decks lately where they're only 2 colors to try to not lose the game to Blood Moon immediately. But they are very much like, let's sacrifice tokens, let's play Blood Artists. And so like this does another little role there where you like it's getting you at least 1 token or exactly 1 token a turn in those decks.
Right, and those are decks that want the boost.
They can just kill you.
Because
kill you.
They play Adeline. Like they can attack. Yeah, exactly.
I want to get ahead of this, and I'm glad nobody mentioned him yet. This card is closer to something like Adeline than it is something like Brimaz.
Sure.
Because it does, like Brimaz is the classic card where people are like, Krakus should be a point so I can play Brimaz. It's like, no, if Krakus was a point, you're not playing your Brimaz because Brimaz is Brimaz, right?
It just tickles me that we still have to talk about Brimaz.
Dog.
It's a great example. I mean, people love the meow meow.
People,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Good point, Wheeler.
Yeah.
You.
All right.
You said it.
I'm getting ahead of the furries in chat.
Jesus. Let's move on. Next up, we have Tolls of War. This is a gold enchantment. which we're going to talk about now because it is a white pip and there's no reason not to.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Why not? All right, 2-mana enchantment for a white and a black.
Oops.
When this enchantment enters, create a clue token. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent during your turn, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. This ability triggers only once.
Now, in my defense, when I made the spreadsheet, I knew Nelson would talk about black-white aristocrat.
That's awesome. Yeah. You were looking in the future like, Suki's going to make Nelson talk about black-white aristocrat.
Yeah. And as we've set this up perfectly for Nelly.
Yeah. I mean, you may have heard that there's a black-white aristocrats deck that seems to be gaining some traction, or at least interest or popularity. I've just seen it crop up on Muxfield more than once lately. So I don't know. Did you like that thing from Ether Revolt that does this?
Hidden Stockpile.
Hidden Stockpile is different, but it does bear similarities. This card clearly says, do you like dirtling, or are you like skull clamping and not under a lot of pressure? Like, I'm your goat. Like, you know, clearly I am going to provide you, like Suki, with 1/1 every turn that you can clamp or whatever.
So Suki said leaves the battlefield, and this specifies sacrifice. Is that correct?
Okay, so you don't actually get the 1/1 for
this wouldn't work with clamp, but still lots of upside.
You can sacrifice a permanent, so a fetch land.
Yeah, fetch lands work,
The clue token itself.
Yep.
All these things.
It is nice that there's this card, like, if you have it stick in play, that while you're both top decking, drawing a fetch land is now not only making a 1/1, but also surveilling a card. Like, it's just,
you have to sacrifice your Urza Saga, right? That's a sacrifice, isn't it? Or is it a put in the graveyard? I think
you sacrifice
this, right? So there's another one. Like, there's sacrificing a permanent. Like,
happens more than you think.
A lot.
Just because of the rules.
Playing Magic the Gathering makes you do it a lot.
Fourth Urza Saga. No, I'm not counting. All right, the final white card we're going to talk about today, Wolf Cove Villager. This is a 1-mana 2/2 human peasant that enters tapped. Wheeler.
Okay, so Isamaru.
Yeah.
I love that dog to bits. Is unfortunately not the most playable card in 2025. It still can show up in versions of mono white that is more aggressive. And can show up in like 2-color or 3-color legends decks if they really want a density of cheap legends. But more or less, it's just 1-mana 2/2 is not the most exciting thing in the world, which is depressing to say. But this one happens to be a 1-mana 2/2 that won't get bounced by Caracas. Not that matters too much. Happens to be a human, which is huge for your for your champion of the parish or your Thalia's lieutenant there, eh? Oh. Also worth mentioning, not to mention another UB product that'll get people foaming at the mouth here, but this combos really well with web slinging.
Right.
And
because it's already tapped.
Yes, because it enters the battlefield tapped.
I love that. Holy moly.
You know, there are a couple of web slinging cards that see play in mono white or the white X kind of D&T variants. Arachne is so goddamn good. And even the Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's a few kind of waiting in the wings web sling cards where it's like, this is a really good payoff if you can get it to work, but it's 2 colors.
And Silk as well.
The front
green one.
Or the front side, like the top rate cost is a little high. And so like if it had more and more enablers, maybe eventually we'd be jamming more web slinging cards.
So I think this is funny because it's just like a random common in the like tutorial product, but also it just does enough that I think it has room in some of the humans.
I love that 2025 Magic. You're like, this 1-mana 2/2 comes into play tapped, and here's why that's busted. It's so funny.
There's a Jackal Pup without downside in red, and we're not talking about it because why would you play that?
I want to mention that too. Actually, I don't play a ton of D&T, especially in Highlander. I have played mono white aggressive strategies in other formats in the past, but
this man knows a Kithkin.
I do, yeah, exactly. I did play within the last 12 months. I played 1-drops mono white. Like I played as many Savannah Lions as I could, and my points were Black Lotus.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I was like, what if I did my like full send 1-drops thing, but instead of being black, I was white. I'll try that version of D&T. And then I played like some other good cards, and I hated that deck.
Oh wow!
So like from the big picture perspective, I do see Wolf Cove Villager, and I'm like, I don't care. Like you could tell me it didn't come in tapped, and I'd be like, we don't need more 2-power 1-drops in white. They're actually not good unless they have a bunch of words on them. So, but all those other things are still true. Like human, web slinging.
The banning of Crusade really hurt that deck.
All right, let's start with blue. And first up, we have Boomerang Basics. This is a 1-mana sorcery lesson. As far as I'm aware, lesson is just a subtype. It doesn't have any rules meaning other than maybe some cards care about it, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. We're on Nelly.
Whoa. Sorry, I'm just seeing this card for the first time, and I need to catch my breath. I'm very excited to see Void Snare with more words on it.
Yeah.
We have 1-mana blue sorcery, return target non-land permanent, and that's fine. And it gets played in Storm occasionally, and barely any other places. But this can fit in with your Ephemerate decks to give you a little bit more, value if what's happening is we're top decking. Or something like top decking where you're low on gas and you can possibly rebuy your ETB and get a card with still having all of the power of like, okay, for 1 mana, actually, I just want to reset you, take your mana away, you recast your thing, or let me just get your block out of the way and kill you, Unsummon is an extremely powerful card. Mm-hmm. It's probably still kind of underplayed in our format. I feel like Unsummon basically has been a little underplayed across the history of Canadian Highlander. But it's not like it doesn't get played at all. People do know about Unsummon. So this is a new Unsummon in the Unsummon team.
Sorcery is a little bit of a bummer, but and to comment about the bounce spells that get played, like Chain of Vapor and Into the Floodmaw from Bloomborough, those 2 cards feel like cheating.
Chain of Vapor is in a lot of Storm lists.
Yes. Yeah. But those 2 cards are basically in not every combo deck, but most of them, like Citadel Storm, Traditional Storm, Breach Storm, all that. And it's nice to have the flexibility of playing another version that can also reset some of your cards if you need to. And if you've played enough Storm, you have Chain of Vapor your own stuff to build up, Storm.
Or mana even.
Sometimes. Or mana, yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you're doing mana.
Yeah. And so cool little add-on to have where you don't want to play Void Snare, but you want to play Void Snare, you don't want to commit a card slot to it.
Right.
That's the classic conundrum.
Yeah.
Next up, Serpent of the Pass. This is a 7-mana 6/5 Serpent for 5 blue. If there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard, you may cast the spell as though it had flash. This spell costs 1 generic less to cast for each non-creature, non-land card in your graveyard.
Okay, hear me out. So the lessons part doesn't matter. Okay, that's not happening. I've tried to make Cryptic Serpent work in our format for about a decade. Or even more, right? Like
Sea's Bane or whatever.
Sailor's Bane from, CLB.
That one's my favorite.
Tolarian Terror from Dominaria United is the good version of these cards.
And there's a pauper deck that's just mono blue terror, right?
Mono blue terror, right? I actually played this at Atlanta.
Okay.
Shout out to NYCMTG, where she finals or top 4'd the big pauper event that was there, and she needed me to practice with her to warm up, and I played this terror deck. And as I'm playing this, I'm like, these are all just Canlander cards. Hey, wait a minute. Is terror good? And so now I'm kind of thinking I think this terror is good. It's right. Tolarian Terror is
Are we going to play that Affinity for Islands Drake in this deck too? That also used to show up in pauper lists a long time ago.
Oh, the Spire Golem one?
Spire Golem.
I'll save my talk about Mono Blue and Canlander for a different thing. But right. The cost reduction big dumbass cards.
Yeah.
I think there is a home for them. Not because they have gotten better, but because the supporting cards have gotten better. It's a lot easier to play these cards when Blue or Blue X has better mana, as well as just cheaper, less pip-intensive tools of dealing with the problems. And this one also just counts Moxen. Yeah. Baubles.
Well, we've been aggressively filling our graveyard even more lately in the past couple of years with the increase of Delirium decks, and we've had to point reanimate just because of how powerful the graveyard has been as a resource. And I think filling your graveyard is more free now than it's ever been.
Yeah. It's like when Tolarian Terror first came out, we didn't have Lorien revealed.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There was a Friday Night Paper Fight where I was playing a deck that had all these delve kind of cards. And I had 4 of them in my hand. Oh, it was a showdown where I played blue-white tempo against Serge.
Right. You just drew the wrong.
And I just had like all these like big delve cards, and I'm pretty sure I could have cast 3 out of 4 and it would have been okay. It was just the 4th one that was like the nail in the coffin. So just getting cards in your graveyard easier than it's ever been, and then having something that is huge. Like 6/5 is not enough.
It's just got keyword big.
Yep. I'm curious about that deck now. I've never really thought that it was a dedicated strategy. I've always looked at Terror of the Past or whatever, and Tolarian Terror, and thought this is an option you could put in like. Is it
blue
tempo,
red, right? Like
right?
Blue red.
Yeah,
you got Bedlam Reveler. You've got all those. I see this as being a copy of maybe those Drakes as well. A lot of those cards that have X power equal the number of instants of sorceries in your graveyard or in exile. Like I see those kind of overlapping, but I guess they could be separate strategies too.
Also, look how goofy this is.
I love that art.
The art slaps.
Yeah, right,
Absolutely
right.
Slaps.
All right, next up, Spirit Water Revival. This is a 3-mana sorcery for 1 blue. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may Waterbend 6. Waterbend is a new mechanic. While you're paying the Waterbend cost, you can tap an artifact or creature to reduce it by 1 generic. Draw 2 cards. If this spell's additional cost was paid, instead, shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw 7, and if you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game, exile Spirit Water Revival. We're at Nelly.
Okay, so they gave us a one-sided Time Twister for Academy. That's cool. Did you know that when you waterbend, your Paradox Engine triggers?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to try this in the deck that wants to do that. And maybe there's even another use case for this card. I mean, it does say, like, draw 2 cards, and honestly, casting Divination, while never the plan of any Canadian Highlander deck, it's really not that bad.
I mean, but, stock up, dog.
Yeah, stock up.
You play enough,
Sure.
you play enough stock up, and stock up isn't Divination, but you play enough stock up, and you're like, should I be playing Quick Study? Like the instant speed one from Eldraine?
Should I just be playing Esper Charm in this deck? It's really not that bad. It's really not.
Targeting who?
Exactly. You have 2 cards in hand? Mind Twist, end of turn. Yeah.
The rise of stock up has got me playing like Flame of Aenor again as well. Of just like, sometimes I'll just draw 2 cards. This is great.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so like
I think you nailed it.
You either if you have an academy,
draw 7,
if you have an academy and it's like working, you can either tap your artifacts to pay for Waterbend or just pay the extra mana with your academy, right, and not untap your academy when you cast this because you also have a Paradox Engine in my Magical Crystal Land scenario. But like you do build those decks with Christmas in mind.
With 9 mana.
Yeah, I mean, so like the draw 7, like play draw 7s.
I could see a world where you're just like, you have some accelerants and you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to Twister now, but maybe I want to go like tap my Ancient Tomb, play a Talisman, Divination.
Yes.
Go.
Like the idea of your Twister is actually also Divination if the condition isn't met.
It's kind of nice.
That's sick.
Yeah. Next up, the Mechanist Aerial Artisan. This is a 3-mana 1/3 legendary human artificer ally for 2 and a blue. Why did I say white? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a clue token. Tap. Until end of turn, target artifact token you control becomes a 3/1 construct artifact creature with flying. Wheeler.
This card's a little appealing to me. It shares a lot of DNA with Forensic Gadgeteer from MKM. Forensic Gadgeteer, however, just combo kills and wins the game with Basalt Monolith. This one does not. This one also shares a lot of DNA with something like Psy, Master Thopterist. Psy does not die to Lightning Bolt. So this is a weird card where it is so similar to some of the other cards you play that you might be convinced to play this card.
Like a Saheeli, right? Yeah.
Yes. And like maybe I could be convinced to try this card out in like you know what a card doesn't see any play and is shocking to me? Power Artifact.
Oh yeah.
For people that don't know,
you're allowed to play Power Artifact.
Yeah, there's a card called Power Artifact. It's a 2-mana enchants an artifact and it reduces the activated abilities of the enchanted artifact.
It's because Academy doesn't have any way to tutor for it. Right? Like the decks
a Lightning Tutor.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, but not a lot. Like it's focused on these like mages that get artifacts of a certain size or just like spells that get any artifact. Mm-hmm. And so Power Artifact is like this weird include where you kind of have to draw it and then go find your monolith.
Right. What I'm getting at is that like we have such a density of cards to take advantage of Grim Monolith and Basalt Monolith, which are already busted Magic cards. It's just weird that we haven't seen like mono blue or blue X, just like I was going to use the word twiddle, and I didn't mean the card twiddle, but now I'm thinking about the card twiddle. But like mono blue or blue X, like, yeah, I just stumble into this combo, and I have like Basalt. Like these cards are just powerful enough on their own, and this is the kind of card that can facilitate like getting enough card flow, right? Or generating enough tokens for your Academy.
Well, not even necessarily Academy. There's been a rise in, I can't remember this, the blue-black artifacts, sack, 5 other artifacts.
Time Sieve.
This seems sick in the Time Sieve deck, right?
Sure.
I didn't want to mention that. Okay, so I've been playing this Time Sieve deck, and I don't think you can actually, like, I don't think I can responsibly play this in paper. Like, it creates so many game objects, and the board is legitimately, like,
it's a nightmare.
Terrible. And even on Magic Online.
Noel just brings a second box. He's like, these are my tokens. And the box he brings is the same box that he has. He's got a Highlander deck box, and then another deck box, the same deck box.
It's like, tokens. You have to be like, oh, I'm going to tap these 2 tokens for this, but also these ones aren't summoning sick. And these ones are, which is relevant in case I'm going to go for like a Tezzeret kill with this or a Rise and Shine kill. And it's a nightmare.
You sit down to play your match. You're like, Judge, there's someone sitting next to me, and I was hoping to use a whole 2 other boards for my in-game permanents. Yeah. This is my adventure zone over here, and this is my game emblem zone.
I will try this in the Time Sieve deck, the Time Sieve food deck. But I am personally more invested in this card as like bolstering this like idea of basically, why can't I kill people with artifacts in Canlander the way I do in Vintage Cube? You know,
you had to wait so long for Time Sieve to be a good deck.
Yeah, I played a lot.
That time is now, though. That time is now.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the last blue card, we have Wan Shi Tong, Librarian. This is an X-blue 1/1 legendary bird spirit with flash, flying, vigilance, and when bird enters, put X +1/+1 counters on him. Then draw half X cards rounded down. Whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on bird and draw a card. Yeah. Are we at Wheeler now? Or we have Nelly.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah, the worst person you know just made a great point.
We're at Nelly, but
is it?
Yeah, Nelly.
I just want to say, like, Wan Shi Tong, if you liked your opponent casting Oppo Agent, now it's like they do that, and it feels less bad for you, but like there's another one of them, like the Oppo Agent is also still in their deck, and they just drew it off of their Wan Shi Tong trigger because they flashed it in response to you sacrificing your Windswept Teeth, and it only cost them 2 mana. So that's like, great.
This feels like an Orcish Bowmaster that you don't hate.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Like, I think it's very powerful, but with less of a feel bad because it doesn't like ruin your opponent's day just on its own. It's a big Sarah Angel, right?
There's a card that already exists called Archivist of Ogma. It's like a 2-mana 2/2 with in white that says when an ET, or sorry, not when an ETBs. When an opponent would search their library, you gain a life and draw a card.
Yep.
And that card, when it was spoiled, we were like, oh, this card will surely see some play.
It's wild how little play that card sees.
Yeah,
because it doesn't disrupt them, and it doesn't kill them.
It's a bear.
Yeah.
And also, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it's like, where do you want to play this? And also, how bad is it when it doesn't do the thing? This, at least, is a flash, like a flyer.
You have to wait till 4 mana so that you can get your value out of it, right?
Out of this one?
Yeah, say your opponent's doing nothing, or they're not giving you the the juice. They're not sacrificing, and you don't get to like get your trigger.
Right.
Or they're not searching, I mean.
Yeah.
You have to get to 4 mana.
Yes, but Ogma is always just 2 mana 2/2. The fact that this is, it sounds memey, but the fact that it's blue is very helpful.
And it has flying and vigilance.
Yeah. I play this on 2 in response to a fetch.
The other thing is, like, yes, it gets hit by Caracas and sometimes Bolt, but when they hit it with Caracas, you get to cast it again.
I might just play this on 2 because they passed the turn.
Yes.
Like in flying.
Yeah, 1/1 flying vigilance.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Also,
it starts to apply pressure early.
Yeah.
You're going to hit this with your own Caracas sometimes.
Yeah, you flash this out. On your end step, I untap, I play my land, I Curious Obsession, hold up Mana Leak. And I'm happy.
Great.
I'm happy.
This might be one of the more pushed cards in the set.
This is a pretty good card.
I feel strongly this one will be showing up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now we're on black. Day of Black Sun. X black sorcery. Each creature with mana value X or less loses all abilities until end of turn. Destroy those creatures. Wheeler.
So this is expensive, and I don't particularly like it, but I'm also not the player this is for. So if Nelson wants to talk about this, losing abilities and then killing them is really cool.
Yes. So the thing this does is it gets around stuff like dies triggers, obviously, and then some other things. There's a host of things this does that are kind of similar to the Final Fantasy sweeper we just saw that ends the turn.
Destroy all creatures end the turn, so any death triggers go away.
Ultima. It's kind of reminiscent of that. It's obviously a bit more flexible where you can just do the little creatures and maybe you have the only 4-drop on the table, like, Sheldred on 4, this on 5 for a mana value of 3 or less. Like that will result in a lot of really strong board positions. This is for the mono black girlies, I
was going to ask, where are we playing this, right?
We're just playing it in big black. The A+ black deck, I tried, I taught that I went out again this year. I didn't really love it. I don't think it's in a really good spot in the metagame right now, but it's just important to note, hey, another playable, we'll say, sweeper, and then loses all abilities, but before killing them, that is an important line of text that will matter more some seasons than others, depending on what the best creatures in the format look like. So I'm not even super excited about this one just because it is quite expensive. Like, if you're playing a sweeper, you often really need that sweeper to kill everything, or at least kill everything of theirs. And also, when you're playing sweepers, you're usually the person on the back foot. So you're more typically, you don't have the bigger creature.
You want to be mana efficient as well or something,
like the thing I just talked about, it's like, say your 4 mana is Sheldred, and then you play this the following turn. Like, that requires a mock start in order for it to be like a plan that is okay. Because if you're like turn 4 Sheldred, they killed you.
Yeah.
So
it takes a very specific deck or build to play anything above 4 mana.
Yeah, and that's true even if you love doing that, and you'll go for it even when it's like kind of a big swing, like I have done various times in the past. So I have had success with those decks here and there, but this is not a card I'm like supremely excited for. It has a sick name, and cool art.
Yeah.
And yeah, just remember this card. Like, I would say if you are a fan of mono black, pick this card up as long as it's cheap. It probably will be at some point soon, and file it away because there might be a season that it matters.
Next up, we have May, Scornful Striker. This is a 2-mana 2/2 legendary human noble ally for 1 and a black. First strike. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. Wheeler.
No, this is Nelson's again.
Yeah, it's mine again. It's okay. You can talk about it if you want. Yeah, you don't want to hear it.
I mean,
Wheeler knows how good First Strike is.
I'm haunted by Mai in Street Fighter. Now I'm haunted by Mai in Magic the Gathering. What's going on
Why
here?
does she have another fan? Why is there always fans everywhere?
Nerf OD fan.
It's like the OD fan has like 15 fans you have to deal with. Anyways, 2/2 First Strike for 2. Yes, it's legendary. We're just going to move past that. This card does get Baracus or whatever. Like, that's fine. It is a problem if they have a Caracas for free, because 2 mana, and also you just want this thing to be on the battlefield when you pass the turn, because it messes up their combat by being a first strike blocker, right? And then also it messes with their life total. It's absolutely brutal against a storm or prowess strategy where it might close out their options and they need to instead find a way to kill this before they can win the game at all. So you're going to have some games where you cast Mai and the opponent just concedes because, or the untap look and then concede, right? Like, because they know that they can't win the following turn either. So yeah, this is just a strong one for the mono black strategies. I could also see it showing up in your green black X. Like, it's kind of a cool silver bullet if you're playing a bunch of I don't know, what's the best creature tutor these days? I still like the green white instant, although I always forget the name. I still like Eladamri's Call, even though I always forget the name of it.
There's been some people bringing white black D&T to tournaments lately as well, and this would make you.
It is sad. A human.
It is a human.
It is a single pip,
and it is a hate bear. Yeah, it's an actual bear that hates.
It also gets around the One Ring.
Very nice. It says they lose life. It doesn't say target player. Good catch. We've mentioned Urza Saga 15 times, but we only mentioned the One Ring on the third color we talked about. Yeah, fantastic against all the One Ring decks are playing lots of non-creature.
You mentioned the One Ring in white.
Oh,
No, I did.
Oh, no,
but that's fine. Yeah,
you did.
I wasn't going to call him out on it.
No,
But, you know,
that's fine. That's fine.
you're fine. Sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
Anyways, no, I just think this one's really strong. Yes, it goes in your mono black aggro strategies, but also I could see it showing up in the Legends version of Rakdos. I like I don't know, Noel, I think, played last year, is like, let's just try to play not as many. Or no, he didn't. No, he played a bunch of Legends. He was playing. Yeah, he played. If you're already jamming into Yavora, and you want to try this one out, I would say.
Yeah, he's just like, let's overwhelm them. Let's play Moons.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he had Strip in his points.
He was definitely playing Lelia. Yeah. No, I think Jason, someone else. I looked at another Rakdos deck this year where I was like, okay, so this is doing the opposite, where you're playing like as few Legends as possible while still putting up a lot of power, and we're spoiled that we get to do that.
Yeah.
But if you are jamming the Legends side, I would say Legends Rakdos can try this out.
Next up, we have Obsessive Pursuit. This is a 2-mana enchantment for 1 and a black. When this enchantment enters, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a clue token. Whenever you attack, put X +1/+1 counters on target attacking creature, where X is the number of permanents you've sacrificed this turn. If X is 3 or greater, that creature gains lifelink. Wheeler.
So we've seen some bad Phyrexian arenas, and we've talked about them with high hopes. Phyrexian Arena doesn't really see play in our format.
We kind
anymore.
It's like a fun of.
Yeah. If somebody plays Phyrexian Arena against me, I'm like, oh, well, that's really good, but you are going to lose this match, right? Like, and this isn't exactly that. I would argue that making a clue in the decks that want to play this kind of card is better than just straight up drawing the card, right? Like creating an artifact that will draw a card and also trigger all the cards that care about sacrificing, cards that care about drawing, cards that care about artifacts is pretty huge, especially because you just get to stockpile them, right? Drawing extra cards doesn't matter as much if you are using your mana, if you already have the mana that you're using kind of plotted out over the course of the next turn or so. And then whenever you attack, getting to buff the attacking creature after you've sacrificed fetch lands, treasure tokens, clue tokens, whatever, is pretty huge. I don't know if either of you have played with Prof's Eidetic Memory in Canadian Highlander.
I was going to talk about it if you weren't.
Yeah, that card's messed up. That card is so good in our format. I was like, this is a card for Standard players and occasionally Pioneer players.
It's really good in Standard, too.
And it's really good in Standard, and I'm sure it's fine in Pioneer. It's also just really good in Vintage Cube. And my experience with that has been it's really good in Canadian Highlander.
Yeah, generally.
This is not exactly Profs. Like Profs has a bunch of. That's a card for those that don't know. It's blue and legendary enchantment. ETB, you draw a card beginning of combat. You put X/1/1 counters on target creature, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn -1. So it's not doing exactly this, but this can also just like you're just making some little stupid Birds of Paradise or Hobbit or whatever massive. With lifelink, like that is going to help you stay in the game. And sacrificing 3 permanents sounds like a lot, but if your deck is built around doing it, I mean, yeah, you sack your fetch land for the turn, you crack a clue, and you use the treasure to crack that clue.
Yeah, or you put a Doomed Traveler into a Goblin Bombardment or whatever.
Yeah. And another great point. Even if like you don't care about the clue part as much as you care about the second ability. I mean, the clue is nice because you just want to keep drawing cards in these aristocrats or sacrifice decks. But you're a deck with your creature suite is a bunch of idiot babies, right? A bunch of one mana 1/1s, or they've pooped out like a 1/1 token or whatever. It's nice to make those tokens a genuine threat with this card, and permanent too. The counters just last, right? Yeah. That stacks up,
and you can miss.
Holy moly!
You can miss a turn on the attack trigger, and still get your value back in lifelink, right?
That's
like
fine.
You don't have to get that attack trigger to work every time. They can kill your thing in response when you were going to put 4+1/+1 counters on it, and you can do it again next turn. Yeah, because getting 3 permanent sacrificed, as Wheeler just described, is actually not that much work for any Canadian Highlander deck.
All right, the final black card we're going to talk about is Raven Eagle. This is a 3-mana 2/3 bird assassin for 2 and a black. It has flying. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, exile up to one target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, create a clue token. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Nelly.
Oh my god, can we stop playing Graveyard Trespasser now?
Nope.
Damn.
To play both?
Yeah, I am like the other 99% of the population when it comes to Nightbound, Daybound.
All right.
It's fine. Yeah. Serge was right, unfortunately, and I knew it before I even asked the question. But I wanted to ask the question because I know you want to hear the answer. Yeah, we got another one of these. Now Graveyard Trespasser flies, lol. It is a little different, but not from a deck building point of view, I don't think. You're not actually going to care. How about the difference when you go to put this card in your deck? Although it's worth noting that it plays well with, it looks like the black-white Aristocrats deck is like a focus of this set, right? So there's a bunch of cards that we've talked about in black. They're like, hey, you should try sacrificing permanents. It's great.
Great.
I don't know. This card looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, this card looks really solid.
All right, now in red, our first card is the Firebending Student. This is a 2-mana 1/2 human monk for 1 in red with prowess. And Firebending X, where X is this creature's power. So Firebending is an ability that when it attacks, you get to add X rad mana that will last until the end of combat. Wheeler.
This one's tricky because anytime, like we went a while without like a really cool prowess creature at 2. Now we have so many of them.
They gave us a bunch of like when you discard recently instead of prowess. Right?
Yeah. And this is a card that I look at and I'm like, okay, I really want to like it because obviously adding free mana is interesting, and you get to add mana at a stage of the turn where you get to take advantage of the strength of prowess, right? You're like, I just got an extra mana. I got extra 2 mana or whatever. And you're like, okay, do you want to block? No? All right.
Yeah.
Monstrous Rage, right? Like you can just lay into that. And worth noting, cards like Monstrous Rage and other pump spells synergize really well with this because you can play one to get the party started, attack, and then add a bunch of mana, and then use that mana for other purposes too. My issue with this card is that every time we get a 2-cost prowess creature with 1 power, it just doesn't deliver. So I'm not saying that this card is going to be just like unplayable or anything. I'm just approaching this with a level of hesitation that comes from being burned by Storm Chaser Mage,
right?
And similar cards.
Sprite Dragon, I don't know.
Sprite Dragon and there's a dwarf from Dominaria United, Electrostatic Infantry.
Yeah,
those cards
are sticking around. Yeah.
They're okay. They stick around. They're not, the be-all, end-all. The Electrostatic Infantry does show up in versions of Mono Red, and Mono Red has moved away mostly from, playing every Jackal pup to now being a little more particular about its creatures. And I think even in the version that's heavy on the pump spells, heavy on the spell slinging, playing this card is mostly just like a test rather
like
than...
how many spots do you have?
I'm not even thinking
0.
spots. Well, no, the part that I think is curious is what difference is Firebending going to make, right? And I want to see the math players look at this because I think there's also a certain point where you want to dump your hand and you're limited by your resources. And maybe that extra 1 or 2 mana is that difference between like a turn 4 kill and a turn 5 kill. Because they're like, okay, I've got 2 prowess threats. I've got X burn spells in hand. I've only got 3 mana. But now all of a sudden, if you play a cantrip first, you've got, those are these free spells they might not have had before.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with anything you're saying there, but I think there might be for one player out there looking at that being like, wait a second, this is actually huge.
Yeah, I mean, the firebending part of this card is powerful. It's the 1/2 body on a 2-drop that I'm like less stoked on.
Like the Emberheart Challenger players are going to have a hard time getting excited to draw this one instead of Monastery Swift Spear, right? Like, yeah.
What's it replacing?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this does look cool, and is your 101st card in your 101 card.
Are you including this because it's new or because you think it'll give you the best shot at winning the tournament?
Right.
All right, next up, Jet's Brainwashing. This is a 1-mana sorcery for a single red pip. It has kicker of 3. Target creature can't block this turn. If this spell was kicked, gain control of that creature until end of turn, untap it, it gains haste until end of turn, and create a clue token. Wheeler. Wait, Wheeler?
Yeah, no, you can talk about this one if you want to. It's interesting.
Making something unable to block is shockingly impactful.
Yeah.
Like, it's the kind of thing where, much like what we talked about with that bounce spell, you don't want to pay the cost of inclusion, like, for that card, right? But because the real cost of this card is that it has to be one of your 100 cards.
It takes up a sleeve, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you would love this kind of effect.
You regularly just wish you had this in your hand.
And you wish that Frenzied Goblin had, like, a second toughness or something. Or that Clamor Shaman, like, had a second toughness. You know, like, preventing things from blocking, especially in a world where people are like, well, I was winning the game until they played Barrogoyf. Or I was winning the game until they played,
What's the 4-mana red creature that enters play from the Clue product?
Headliner Scarlet.
Headliner Scarlet, right? Like, that comes into play.
Right.
3/3 haste, creatures can't block.
And that's it. Until a miracle to St. Catherine or whatever.
And that, yes, exactly. Or Metamorphosis Fanatic. Yeah. And the Scarlet's a card that, like, does see play.
Yeah.
Because it gets around these problematic cards for the red decks. And that's a 4-drop, man. Red doesn't play 4-drops that often.
Plays that one.
But this one replaces itself. Good for the, like, little spell slinging decks where you could just play it, get a clue. This thing can't block. If I want to use my extra mana this turn, I can. If I don't, then I'm just going to cash in this clue and have something next turn. And then if you get up to 4, it plays really well because it effectively gets rid of 2 blockers and ups your board. So your opponent Metamorphosis Fanatics and brings back a Barrogoyf, and now it has double lifelink, and everything has lifelink. Then you steal the Barrogoyf and make the Metamorphosis Fanatic can't block, and they die. Like, gain control of that creature?
Of that creature. It doesn't give you 2 targets.
Never mind.
I was looking at that for a second. I was going to let you keep...
No, it's okay. I caught it, so if I see anybody in the comments mentioning it, I knew you paused.
Yeah, all right. We can move on then. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. So... I don't know if this is pronounced Zhao or Zhao. ZH. Zhao? Zhao the Moonslayer. 2-mana, 2/2 legendary human soldier for 1 in red with menace. Non-basic lands enter tapped. 7 generic. Put a Conqueror counter on Zhao. As long as Zhao has a Conqueror counter on him, non-basic lands are mountains.
Oh, baby.
This card's pretty good.
Got some heat. Nelly?
Yeah, okay, so obviously there's a few things going on here. Let us address the first elephant in the legendary creature type line. This will sometimes get bounced by Caracas because it is not exactly a Blood Moon. It's a 2/2 for 2. It's a human. So, yeah, you might invest 2 mana and they might remove it for 1 or with their lands. That said, it does have menace. So it's going to be doing stuff. And then it's got 2 different hate elements, one of which is going to require an investment of 9 mana total. But the other one is just free. And, the 2 mana of casting it. And, like, they are synergistic. So, like, you're not losing the non-basic lands enter tapped after they all turn into mountains once they hit the battlefield if you get that Conqueror counter on.
Yep.
I don't immediately have any, like, this pay 7 generic works great with X thing that I want to tell you about.
In every moon deck.
It just seems like another moon for sure. Oh, well, I didn't want to immediately pigeonhole it into that's the only place you're going to see it because we don't have another moon that's a 2/2 menace for 2. The other 2 moon creatures aren't legendary, which is cool, and they work right away. But this one is a bit more nuanced and complicated where it slows down the progression of their mana by taxing it, but it beats them up while doing that.
It's closer to a Thalia than it is a moon.
Yeah, sure. I like that. So, yeah, if you're playing Blood and Taxes, I would say slam it in there.
It is worth mentioning this is symmetrical, where the Thalia typically isn't. Like the 3-mana Thalia Heretic Cathar only taps their lands, not your own.
Yeah.
So that is a consideration if you're thinking about that deck.
I think maybe it also might find a home in those Green X creature finding decks, because they like if you have a Gaia's Cradle and you're able to like you're in a position where you think instead like you have a creature tutor.
Treat it like a get-in?
Yeah, if you have a creature tutor, but like it's not quite time to go for Craterhoof, maybe you can angle winning the game on like just getting this guy into play and then turning lands off. You know what I mean? It means well, here's the thing.
I can't imagine playing Hoof for the express goal of killing your own
cradle.
Your own cradle, yeah.
I think I'd rather play Magus of the Moon in that scenario.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
okay, I'm big dreaming, but okay. So you got that on an Nelly.
You're cooking. Yeah,
you got that on an Nelly because I look at this card and I'm like, wow, there's a lot going on here that we haven't seen on any other card before.
I would just be like, cool, I'm putting this in Blue Moon.
Sure, that's fine. And it's totally fine. Do that.
Yeah. Good aggressive
card.
Yeah,
I don't know. Good card. Yeah, good card.
Next up, we're in green, and we have the Badger Mole Cub. This is a 2-mana 2/2 Badger Mole for 1 and a green. When this creature enters Earthbend 1, Earthbend is a mechanic where you take a land, it becomes a 0/0, and you put the number of Earthbend counters on it. It's a 1/1 with haste. And important to note, when that land dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. Wheeler.
Earthbend's a very weird mechanic.
I like it.
Because on one hand, it's nice that this kind of ability, if you're going to make it one of the keywords, you have to have some kind of insulation. And often the bounce spells that they print, they try to get more generic in their bounce spells, but they also say non-land. So you're going to Earthbend, and it's not going to get Brazen Borrowed. It will get unsummoned or whatever, but it's not going to get Brazen Borrowed. And then it being brought back when it dies or exiled beyond your opponent interacting with your board, like you Earthbend in Urza Saga.
Yeah.
And it gets sacrificed and brought back.
Or you target your own Wasteland or Strip Mine with it, right? Like,
you can do some goofy stuff.
You put it in your Aristocrat Wood Chipper, and then you get it back again.
Yeah. And this makes a creature that now adds 2 mana. Right, you animate the land, and the land, when it taps, it adds an additional mana. If you have additional mana dorks, you also get to tap those for additional mana, which is pretty cool. I'm mostly struggling to find a slot for this card. This is one of those cards where I'm like, I don't know. I like everything it does, but where am I going to play it? And it's a mythic rare, so they obviously think this card's kind of pushed.
Yeah,
right.
I like this in lands mid-range. I like it for another way to strip mine them again. Right? Like, worst case, like, even the play pattern of have this come into play, animate your fetch land, crack your fetch land, get 2 lands back. Like,
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, just the flexibility and utility of this. And if you're a mid-range deck and you have any mana elves, like the upside on that, I don't know. I just keep thinking of Earthbend as a way to get extra utility out of these lands that are going to your graveyard.
My issue is that it's 2025 and we're in a post-Modern Horizons 3 world.
Sure.
And so, like, this card isn't wowing me.
Yeah.
And so is it really beating out a slot?
Yeah, I'm very high.
I think you can let Fanatic of Ronus ride the bench in a mono green Llanowar Elves deck and let this try.
We need to find a replacement co-host after that statement. What? You want to bench Fanatic of Ronus?
Yeah, for one turn.
Brother, it adds 4 mana.
Yeah, but so
and it comes
this.
back.
It's got so much mana.
What? Adding 4 mana with this card alone just requires that you tap 4 creatures for mana, and is that actually harder in many of these decks that you've been like the original architect of than having a 4-power creature? Like, if you have a 4-power creature in a bunch of the decks that play Gaia's Cradle, it's because you're attacking for 400.
Yeah,
all your creatures are small until they're not.
I don't know. I think the archetype has changed a bit.
I just think you got to look at the Magical Christmas Land scenario on the second ability.
Yeah, I'm not saying this card's bad. I'm just saying this is like 103.
I'm all in the first ability, and the second ability is upside.
I think you're probably right. I think you're probably right. But it looks cute enough that I think you should actually try it. Like, cut your Sylvan Caryatid and try this card.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not cutting Fanatic of Ronus.
Sure,
but I will cut something.
There's like a 2-mana dork that they print every other set where it's like, we got to find out
what has Elvish Visionary done for me recently.
Is this possum actually good?
Yeah.
Right. I do want to say every day we stray further from the light of the Shards of Alara announcement saying mythic rares won't be fully constructed. Like, come on, brother.
Come on.
Okay, next up, Elemental Teachings. This is a 5-mana instant lesson for 4 and a green. Search your library for up to 4 land cards with different names and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Nelly.
Okay, so this card does a lot of really powerful stuff in the deck that we just mentioned, where you would want to play Earthbend cards so you can get them back from your graveyard immediately. This just goes and finds 4 lands and puts them on the battlefield.
No. 4 lands, 2 into the battlefield, 2 into your graveyard.
I know, but I'm saying you have a Crucible of Worlds already because you're a Crucible of Worlds deck.
Wheeler and I both pushed our glasses up so quick to be like, it doesn't say that.
And don't change. Next card, I will just read it wrong. Okay, I was gonna read it wrong eventually, but no, it's just that the deck that wants to play this is shoving lands in its graveyard on purpose.
That's like every intuition pile, right? You're you only get one of them. You're like, no, you do.
Jacob Varro's going to play this.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind was Jacob Varro, because you have so much redundancy now with shifting woodlands. Have you read that card lately?
It's pretty good.
It's unreal.
I like it.
Gone are the days where you're just finding like Dark Depths combo. But this Ixalan had that cave.
Echoing Deeps.
Echoing Deeps, that stuff like that. You're getting if you're getting like shifting woodlands, Echoing Deeps, whatever the land is that prevents all damage.
Glacial
Chasm, and just like and Vesuva or what it does it doesn't even matter, right? Like you can put these stacks of lands that just lock you out. This is a combo card more than anything. It's unreal.
Yeah. Lands combo. That said, it's 5 mana, so you are going to play it in combo. You're probably not going to play it in a lot of other there's a little lands package value situation. It's like you're playing it because you're hard combo.
This card is written so that you can actually Echoing Deeps, right? Because if you're going top down,
right?
No, but those cards get put into the graveyard and the rest go into the battlefield. Like I'm assuming they're in the graveyard before the replacement effect.
Top left to bottom right. Yeah.
Also, instant is not nothing.
Not nothing?
Not nothing.
No, absolutely.
No, but
you can. There's some gotcha.
In fact, for instant, I want to say this isn't really how this works or anything, but for your own estimation, it's like imagine it costs 1 less mana for like how good the card is. You know what I mean? So like if you might consider playing this card at 4. Like
nobody's finding deserts with our promise. Come on.
All right, this is another card I have extremely high.
I like.
Sure, this card matters, and there's going to be the one deck that plays it,
and it's going to be miserable.
Oh yeah, dog! I'm just going to find 4 Surveil lands with this card. I get a Valakut in play. I'm like, all right, I'll find 4.
Hell yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a bunch of decks will play this. Maybe it's better than I'm thinking. Yeah.
Next up, we have Seismic Sense. This is a 1-mana sorcery for a single green pip. It's also a lesson. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. The rest go on the bottom of your library in a random order. Wheeler.
So these cards are kind of interesting. A lot of them have been bad, but occasionally we see the green, like, let me look at the top and put something in my hand. Cards like they've shown up with some success beyond the broken ones, like Once Upon a Time. Turns out that card's still cracked, even if it's 1 out of 100. Or Malevolent Rumble, a card from Modern Horizons 3.
That one just does too many things.
Yeah, we've seen the Beavers, Commune with Beavers, show up recently as
an artifact.
That card. I don't even know if we talked about that card.
No, we missed it. I think we might have acknowledged it later or something.
Commune with Beavers. Good in Time Vault, because but that one finds an artifact. This one's only finding creatures and lands, but it scales incredibly well, which is appealing. Like it's a 1-mana card that, funny enough, the inclusion of this card, obviously because this is, I don't need to get into specifics, but the inclusion of this card and maybe similar cards means that you are less likely to hit your desired hit.
Right, the more of these you put in, it's like the more synergy pieces you have, the less payoff pieces you have.
But also, if this is one of the cards that is decreasing your creature count and you're the one casting it, then you don't have to worry about it when you're running the numbers. The point being that these, is this card going to... Should you be playing this card, or does this card tell you should be playing Once Upon a Time?
Sure.
And should you be playing Malevolent Rumble? And if this card ends up showing up, is it going to be the 3rd version? Because if it's the 3rd version, then we are getting worse.
Yep.
Yeah. This is one of these cards where, I bet they, because of UB not having Planeswalkers, and this reads like something that maybe would have found Planeswalkers in a different set or whatever, it's lacking a little bit.
It doesn't say permanent card.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. And we try not to nitpick or, reinvent cards on the show, but these are important considerations when you're going to build the deck.
Right.
So it does seem like a card that we're going to try out. It will be a cool flavor of the week in lands combo, but ultimately get left by the wayside in future seasons.
Yeah, there are decks where you are just going to play this because this might be a Jacob Varro card. Actually,
it's same as the last card, same as Elemental Teachings. It seems like it'll really shine in certain lands combo decks.
Yep.
Next up, we have Shared Roots. This is a 2-mana sorcery lesson for 1 and a green. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle.
Woo! They gave us rampant growth again?
Yep.
Wild.
The Cabbage Merchant. This is a 3-mana 2/2 legendary human citizen for 2 and a green. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, create a food token. Sacrifice a creature. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, sacrifice a food token. You may tap 2 untapped foods you control to add 1 mana of any color. Wheeler.
This is a card that CDH players are pretty excited about. That's a different format than our format. But that's also a format where they give you a free creature for some reason. And so, and that's a format where at any given table, you should be worried about like an Esper Sentinel or like a Ragavan or, some 1-drop hitting the table.
Yeah, Ocelot Pride might happen.
Yeah. And so this is a powerful ability of like, well, there are a lot of non-creature spells getting cast to make food tokens, and then using your food to add mana is very powerful. Having to sacrifice them is a bit of a bummer. Being only a 2/2 is a bit of a bummer. I may give this a shot in the Time Sieve food deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I would not be. But it's like so. Okay, so this is a weird classification of card where I call it a top 8 card. Where it's like you're going to the year-end top 8,
sure,
and you know the players you're playing,
yep,
and you're like, I am going to either... It's not necessarily like a meta card. It's more just like, I know that Chris Sutherland is going to be in this top 8, and he's in my bracket.
You don't want this against goblins.
No.
Right?
God, no.
Yeah, this is terrible. But so the food deck, specifically the like bug, which has a different word that I can't remember.
Sultai?
Sultai. The Sultai food list plays Jaheira. Right, which is this 3-mana 2/2 card that lets you tap your tokens to produce mana. So even,
Well, it only for green though.
Still. But like the ability to produce mana out of that, and what a huge accelerant it can be. So not only does this give you this powerful, almost Esper Sentinel effect of punishing your opponent by accelerating your strategy whenever they cast stuff,
right,
it also serves this double duty of being redundancy for it producing mana to accelerate you as well.
Sure.
Like this does a really interesting job of sort of filling in the hole on both sides of what that deck is trying to do, both accelerating you mana-wise and also accelerating you game object-wise.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's important to see the distinction between our format and CDH just as a 4 versus 2 player game.
Completely different.
It's very huge with cards like this, especially. While I do think you should be trying this card,
upside and less downside in that case significantly.
Yes, I do think that if you're playing Knight of Sweet's Revenge, you should also try this in your deck in our format. And I do think that Knight of Sweet's Revenge is a playable card in Canadian Highlander. So I'm for this card getting the include. I just want everyone to be really aware going into the games where you play Cabbage Merchant. Most of the hype you'll read on the internet has to do with 3 people having a turn of casting non-creature spells before it gets to your turn, and each of those 3 people thinking about attacking each other. And sometimes that being better, even though they know they're going to make you sacrifice your food / moxes.
Yeah, maybe
half moxes.
Maybe you are playing a deck where this is your commander, and your game plan is to get this out of the command zone on turn 1 or as quickly as possible. And then everybody's like, well, if I play my Mox Opal or my Mana Vault or whatever, then I'm giving a bunch of food, which then accelerates, right? Yeah. Like it's different ball game. But there's a lot of shared like interests with like the players of a lot of force wills running around.
Specifically if you're looking at like raw power level.
Yeah. Deck construction, same kind of place where you're like, let's get Cabbage Merchant going. It works well with all these other things, and that's the same in CDH as it is in Highlander.
My cabbages.
More or less, the good meshing between your own cards will still be true. It's just that you only have one opponent.
Yeah,
they're going to try to take you down whichever way makes the most sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to gold. And first up, we have Aang at the Crossroads. This is a 5-mana 3/3 legendary human avatar ally for 2, a green, a white, and a blue. Aang has flying. When Aang enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card with mana value 4 or less from amongst them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When another creature you control leaves the battlefield, transform Aang at the beginning of the next upkeep. And on the backside, we have Aang. Destined Savior. This is a colorless avatar ally with flying. Land creatures you control have vigilance. At the beginning of your combat turn, Earthbend 2. This is a lot.
That's a lot of words on this card. Aang the Mind Sculptor.
Nelly.
Okay, can I see the front side again in 1, 2, 3 more seconds? It's a 4/4 on the back that has vigilance and flying and makes a creature out of one of your lands every turn?
Every turn you get a 2/2 and they all have vigilance.
And you can Earthbend the same land, right? It's just 2+1/+1 counters on
one. You can make it bigger or you can make another one. Yep.
All right. 5 mana, 3/3, legendary. So we're probably kinda out to begin with. Does not have hexproof or anything. Does have an ETB. Okay, so let's talk about this ETB. You see 5, and you get a creature card with mana value 4 or less from them onto the battlefield. No cast trigger, but it's put on there as part of the resolution of this triggered ability. Every 5 of your cards in Canadian Highlander will tend to be a creature with mana value 4 or less across most decks. Obviously, the one you put Aang in, but honestly, like, it's not that much work. If you're Bant and you're considering it, and you think you can cast 5 mana for this creature, it's not going to be. It's not going to be.
What shell are we theory crafting around here? Rather than talking if it's good or bad, does it have a home? I think is a great starting.
That's
point.
A great question. I do want to get to the end of reading the front of the card one more time. It's just so many words. That's all. I legitimately am not processing it yet. When another creature you control leaves the battlefield, transform it. Okay, so that can be dies, that can be flicker, that can be bounce. And then you get a 4/4. Honestly, I don't have a place for this card.
Like this.
I don't think it's enough of a payoff.
The one place I would want to put it would be Bant Blink.
Yeah.
But then if you're blinking it or blinking anything else, then it gets to the side that's bad with the blink deck.
Right.
Because I'd want to be getting as much value out of that front side as possible.
Well, guess what? You can blink this. And then it comes back
as the other side as well. Yeah.
Have you seen the crap blink decks play and get away with it? This is exactly the kind of card where we talk about it, we're like, it's a 5, man. I don't know. And then it wins a tournament.
Yeah, because you hit Resto Angel, it blinks itself, it hits a Charmed Prince, it blinks your Resto Angel.
Yeah, we're talking about it like this, and then in a month, like, it's a really annoying deck at like Nottingham Weeklies or something.
I guess even on the flip side,
you just shove it into Nadu, and it's like, oh, I can also win with this.
So it brings another like 5 mana is a lot of mana. Who are we kidding? But also, it's not the worst thing to get Caracas if you're doing this every single turn.
Sure.
Right? Bringing another body that is 4 or less can run into some issues where you hit like just a mana dork or whatever. But mana dorks die, which triggers this. And also your deck based around playing a bunch of creatures that you can blink. That's pretty cool. I think being able to just like find another body that can be the body that leaves, and then you get the Destined Savior to start killing people with or whatever.
Being Boomer Magic players, honestly, the best part of Celestial Colonnade was that extra mana that you had off it anyways. Like, your lands being able to attack and have vigilance so you can hold up removal or interaction is actually shockingly powerful.
That 5 mana Nissa from Spark.
Don't worry, Arena Zoomers have lost a Nissa who shakes the world.
Yeah. Okay.
They know.
Sure.
They know.
Yeah, they know.
That pain.
Yeah, I actually
like jumping on.
No, you're good. You're good. There's a lot going on with this card.
I like this card. Okay. I could see myself. I don't know if it's my kind of card, but I could see myself losing to it.
No, it actually is the kind of card that I would try in a shell that has the potential to go wild off that first trigger, where you're just like, oh, I think I'm dead, but let's cast Aang, and then you flip into I have a Johnny on the table now as well.
Yeah, and 4 or less means that you can have play patterns where I'm not telling you to play Restoration Angel,
right?
But you could hit something.
I said that already, man.
Exactly. Like, it's just that's.
Wait, what if you're just playing a bunch of clones and then you just put this in the graveyard and then your clone gets another trigger?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
You want to play clones in that kind of deck. You hit a clone, it copies this. Legend rule, you get rid of the new one. Then this transforms, and you get the ETB.
If you hit the the Return to Zendikar or whatever clone that's a land on the other side, can you transform it?
Glasspool Mimic?
Sorry, I don't mean to bog down with that question. I'm just so curious about whether that works.
You can transform clones now, right?
Yeah, okay, let's hit us up with comments for the judge.
I like this card.
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wheeler.
It's neat.
Next up, Aang, Swift Savior. This is a 3 mana 2/3 legendary human avatar ally for 1, a white, and a blue with flash and flying. When Aang enters, airbend up to 1 target creature or spell. Then Waterbend 8, transform Aang. And on the back side, we have Aang and La, Ocean's Fury. Legendary creature, Avatar Spirit ally with Reach and Trample. Whenever Aang and La attack, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control, and it's a 5/5. Wheeler.
This is the card I'm going to lose to Serge with when he has a mock start.
Yeah.
And only when he has a mock start. I like... The airbending is kind of funny. It's fine. It can be very powerful. This card plays a lot like Even Interrupter. The 3-mana 2/2 ETB, you exile a card and it gets plotted, and then they can cast it on their main phase. It also says cards cast from exile cost 2 more. Right. So it literally just kind of does this.
Yeah.
No.
This only costs 2 total.
2 total. It's not a tax.
Right, but plot means you get to cast it for free, but the interrupter says you have to pay 2 more. So
okay.
you are still paying 2 generic.
Actually, this is a sick combo with the interrupter then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, these are the kind of cards where the density really helps.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, am I playing around Spell Queller? Am I playing around Interrupter? Am I playing around Aang? Or am I just playing around, like, I don't know, the same blue-white cards players have been playing for 30 years. I played this blue-white tempo deck that I didn't really enjoy, but I saw the vision, and I just think that the way that you want to actually change that up is like playing more creatures and playing more evasive threats. And this is one of the cards that I would include in that if I had realized that, like, oh, we're not a blue deck with white cards. We should be a white deck with blue cards. And this is a card that I wouldn't mind playing in it. And I could play this card and ignore the water bending for my entire life.
Yeah,
frankly,
and then,
8 is so much.
Yeah, a
man.
blue white tempo deck is not going to have that many resources.
No,
in like 90% of the games.
You can pay mana and tap stuff.
Sure, yeah, I know, like, it's convoke/improvise.
Yeah, and most games are going to end with you having 4 land and 2 creatures.
But the backside is like, it really hits like a truck too.
It does. It does.
I just think it's usually with expensive extra costs for extra abilities like this activated ability or the one we saw on the Blood Moon creature. It's like you look at that and you're like, oh, that's probably not going to happen. That's too much mana. Right. And then inevitably in Magic the Gathering, like, you end up playing games and you and your opponent just trade resources and it goes long, right?
I think what Wheeler and I are more saying is not that it's never going to come up. It's that we'd play the front side regardless of the back
I'm
side.
not going to judge the same way I wouldn't judge a Planeswalker based on their ultimate. I'm not going to judge this card based off of an 8-mana activated ability, but I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to take a Sharpie.
Yeah, maybe 1 out of 100 games, but in that one game, maybe it's what
you're like, I'm a genius,
right?
Yeah, honestly, this card looks scary, impressive, right?
It's
like,
kind of annoying.
Oh, you've got a Caracas? I mean, yeah, maybe I'm going to keep buggering up your spells and get your creatures out of the way. You know,
the cool thing is, it unlike Spell Queller, it doesn't just interact with the stack. Yeah. Like, we didn't even talk about the applications of like blinking tokens or protecting one of your creatures. It offers way more flexibility.
Yeah. This card is real deal like annoying.
Yep.
It also it has tons of use cases because it doesn't say you control or your opponent control anywhere.
I hate these set reviews where I start liking the cards in the set more and more as we talk about them.
I hate that.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah, we are absolutely spoiled for art here too.
Yeah. All right, next up, Abandon Attachments. This is a 2-mana instant lesson for 1 in a blue-red hybrid. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards.
Sweet.
It's back.
We just had this.
We just had this, and people are like, okay, so this is kind of an interesting upgrade. And then they're like, hold on,
my dear.
Hold on. Nickelodeon paid us more money than you did.
It's not an additional cost.
It's a blue-red hybrid.
It's a blue card.
And everybody claps.
Yeah, it's a blue card. Yeah. No, fantastic stuff.
All right, next up.
You don't even have to do anything.
It is just very funny that Thrill of Possibility, like the fixed Thrill of Possibility, whatever, it's just like, oh, it's blue now. Yeah, we can play this card.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. Hot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Dragonfly Swarm. I mean, we were just talking about this, right? This is a 3-mana X3 dragon insect for 1, a blue and a red. It has flying and ward 1. This creature's power is equal to the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. When this creature dies, if there's a lesson card in your graveyard, draw a card.
Cool.
Sure.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you talk about it. It's fine.
What if Enigma Drake cared about Bauble and had ward 1?
Yep.
Or Spellheart Chimera, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally just talking about this deck when we were at Blue earlier, and you know how we're excited.
I don't think density is what makes that deck less playable nowadays, but the Ward 1 is annoying.
What's funny is that like you might try it and then realize like, oh, that's not why I cut Spellhard Chimera. It was because it costs 3 mana.
Right.
And so, you know, it does still cost 3 mana. It's hard to make those work in that deck. I will say there's enough cool new lesson cards that maybe you're going to draw cards sometimes.
All right, next up we have Longfeng Grand Secretariat. This is a 3-mana 2/3 legendary human advisor for 1 and a Golgari hybrid. Whenever another creature you control or a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Nelly.
Okay, so we've got a combo here. You can infinitely set up sacrificing either your lands or your creatures with various other things that we've seen in decks that tend to not win a tournament but show up in 3-1. That's kind of their MO. That's what those decks do. They're like, I went 2-2 tonight. I punted once, but I learned a new cool thing about my deck. Yeah, like that's what Longfeng is here to listen to you rant about on your way home from the tournament, or more likely to the bar after the tournament.
Does this go infinite with like old Malira Kitchen Finks things? Like, is there a way to loop this and get rid of the Undying counters?
You would need to have...
You need two persist, of them, right? You need the persistent creature to come back and another thing to come back, but you could...
Yeah.
Like, is this a combo card?
Yes, it's absolutely a combo card.
Oh,
That's
sure.
what I was saying before.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a combo card. I don't think it's a not combo card because it's both legendary and has exactly 3 toughness and also costs 3 mana, has bad stats.
But it's an uncommon.
Yeah. So please don't play this card for value. Like, I don't want you to put it in, like, regular aristocrats. I want you to put it in your deck if you're like, okay, yeah, this plus this plus this equals I win.
Yeah.
And it's fine if you want to do that. It's a 3-drop.
If you can't afford or find a Bristly Bill or Scythe Cat Cop, this is not your replacement.
No. Those cards are okay if you just play them on 2.
Yeah, those are combo
and
cards
also
and
combo.
mid-range.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But I don't know. Maybe you like the die as triggers as opposed to landfalls. That's fine. I've been trying to make Sephiroth plus Gravecrawler plus Soul Exchanger or whatever, Soul Tender work. And like, amazing. It's fine. It's bad, but it's fine.
Sure.
You can do this.
Next up, Sandbender Scavengers. This is a 2-mana 1/1 human rogue for a white and a black pip. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, you may exile it. When you do, return target creature card with mana value less than or equal to this creature's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wheeler.
This card's pretty alright. Gets bigger. You have to sacrifice the permanents other than things dying. This is a trend among these black-white cards that we've seen. It is kind of funny that even if this doesn't grow, when this dies, you could just bring back your Doom Traveler, which is cute. That's not nothing. I could see this in the like a black-white sacrifice aristocrat-y tokens kind of deck. Exiling it means that there aren't a huge amount of combo applications, at least not ones that I want to really play myself. I don't think I'm playing this in like Death and Taxes style cards. You need to buy into the theme in order for this card to be playable. But if you are, then this is a reasonable card to include.
Our final card is Sokka, Bold Boomeranger. This is a 2-mana 1/1 legendary human warrior ally for blue and a red. When Sokka enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. And whenever you cast an artifact or lesson, put a +1/+1 counter on Sokka. Nelly.
The Boom Ranger. I like whenever you cast an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Sokka. It's only 2 mana, and you get a Faithless Looting, kinda. Draw that, discard up to 2, then draw that many.
Like a reverse rummage.
Rummage. Yeah. You get to pick, right? So that's cool.
It's such a commander card.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to find Sokka home, to be honest. Like, it's got some cool words on it, but the combination of all of the text box, the power toughness, and the mana costs, the type line are difficult.
It doesn't take much to get me to play a card that says whenever you cast an artifact that happens to be blue and costs less than 3 mana. But like,
it's also gonna be really easy to cut this card the next time something exciting for Academy comes
The tricky thing on this is it feels like it's trying to dip its toes in 2 very different archetypes that we have. Like, maybe there's that welder deck that wants to put things in the graveyard and like it does cast some cheap artifacts, like maybe that's the one home for it, but it like the discard deck doesn't care about casting artifacts, and the artifact deck, with the exception of Welders, doesn't often care about that card selection.
Yeah, rummaging is not enough of a pull for me to play a worse Patchwork Automaton.
Yeah.
All
right.
Sorry, Sokka.
Let's move on to the one artifact card we want to talk about, and that is the Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong. This is a 6-mana legendary artifact. For 1 and a tap, you may scry 2. Whenever you scry or surveil, look at the top card of your library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. Wheeler.
This card's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when we looked at the set, Serge and I saw this card and we're like, oh, that's kind of neat. And we kept reading, like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then got to the last line of text and was like, oh. But you can do so. Look, there's this archetype it's been called Timmy Tinker.
Yeah.
Where it's just, you look at this and you're like, how does this ever win a game? And you're like, well, it wins tournaments. And you're like, okay, I see. And it just plays like it's a channel Tinker Omniscience, that kind of style of deck, where 6 mana off your channel is not that tough. 6 mana off of Tolarian Academy and Acceleration, also not that tough. And with Surveil lands, or just having an extra ability or an extra mana to scry 2, and then casting an Emrakul or a big dork for free, and doing so like at weird times, right? Like you can do this on your opponent's turn if you really want to. It gets around timing restrictions. Is pretty appealing. I haven't gone like so deep into this card of like, okay, is there some weirdo like other card that I want to scry a bunch, like a Jace's Sanctum or like something like that? I think you don't want to go that deep. You just want to say, wouldn't it be funny if this cast Emrakul or Ulamog or like the 7 mana Ugin?
This is a big cheat
yes,
card.
Yeah, exactly. I'd try this in a big cheat deck.
If you already own a copy of Chromatic Orrery,
yeah,
you need to buy this card.
You might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck you probably already know that and didn't need us to tell you. But watch out, that one player in your community that has put Enter the Infinite on the stack more times than you've showed up to Highlander tournaments, they have one of these sleeved up.
Yeah, it's in their 100.
Yeah.
All right, and let's move on to the lands, which I believe are a cycle.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll run through them fairly quickly and then talk about. We'll bring it up.
Tell us what they all do.
All right, let's start off with the Abandoned Air Temple. This is the white one. This land enters tapped unless you control a basic land. Taps are white. 3 and a white. Tap. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
Woo! New house.
This one's really good.
Don't need green to get in the house anymore.
Hell yeah! All right, next up. I apologize. Agna Ke.
Kella?
Is that an L or is that an I?
It's an L.
Agna Kella enters tapped unless you control a basic land. It's worth noting that it's a basic land, not a basic island. It doesn't restrict it for all of these. Tapped out of blue. 2 and a blue, tap, draw a card, discard a card. Nelly.
It's great. Yeah.
Desolate Lighthouse.
Desolate Lighthouse doesn't need red anymore.
Yeah.
Taps for a color.
All right. It's very important that everyone knows that there is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Okay.
That's the next card, Ba Sing Se. That was the cue. I was hoping that.
Oh.
Enters tapped unless you control a basic land. Taps are green. 2 and a green. Tap Earth Bend 2, but activate only as a sorcery.
So this one kills people. Like Abandoned Air Temple also kills people. The Desolate Lighthouse is like, what if this adds blue? And that's cool. But this one, like, I can think of a deck that has like 15 forests that will play this card because you could do the shenanigans we talked about with Earthbending before, but also just like build up on a creature and start killing people.
I really like that they're pushing, like, I want them to reprint Scythecat Cub, but like, you know, and Bill, but like that deck is cool. Like you're just like cards that on their own don't seem too scary, but the landfall triggers add up and they all build towards it.
Fire Nation Palace. This is the red one. 1 and a red. Target creature you control gains Firebending 4 until end of turn. Nelly?
Okay, clearly they did some testing, and these were the numbers that they were happy with shipping this card. Firebending is an ability that we've only looked at one card that had it, and so it looks like in the Magic the Gathering universe, maybe the Fire Nation got justice because the other abilities are kind of cooler and more exciting to us. So yeah, maybe putting 3 mana in and getting 4 back out when you attack is okay.
It's just so Commander.
Maybe it's playable.
Hold on. What was the ratio on? Was it from Eldraine, the
Castle Garenbrook.
Castle Garenbrook. Was that
that's
3 and
5
4
to
out?
6.
5 to 6.
That was
That's
5 to 6. So yeah, you are getting one here, which is
this
interesting.
is 3 to 4.
Yep.
So I mean, that ability to jump a mana is strong.
Counterpoint: 6 green mana cost Primeval Titan.
Sure.
4 red mana in combat.
Cast. What exactly?
Second right. Second right.
Yeah.
You can cast it after first strike damage because you attacked with my.
And the final one is the Realm of Ko. This is the black one. 3 and a black. Create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token with this creature can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creature tokens. Wheeler.
This one's pretty good.
Yeah, you know they made it cost 4 and tap because they tried it with cost 2 and then cost 3, and then they're like, okay, this is too good.
Castle Ardenvale still pretty reasonable. Shows up occasionally in Death and Taxes deck or the tokens strategies.
And then what's the flip side of the white vampire one?
Oh, Adonto's Landing.
Yeah.
I think it's just Adonto.
I think that's
Legion's Landing that turns into
Legion's Landing into Adonto. That's 3 and make 1, right?
Yeah, but then you have to
go
play
through the
Legion's
hoops of-
Landing,
yeah,
which
yeah.
actually, should we play Legion's Landing? Hold on, I've been thinking about this card. I mean, I played in tokens, but here?
Okay, so that's our set review, but let's talk about the set as a whole. What are your thoughts? I'm going to start with Nelly.
Can we just talk about the lands?
Oh, do you want to talk about
Can
it
we?
more
Can we
really
just do a little? Because we just sort of went back and forth.
What are your thoughts?
Overall, this cycle seems solid to me. I want to try these. I want to talk about the condition because tapped unless you control a basic land is a pretty big deal. We mentioned doesn't have to be an island, but actually those Modern Horizons 3 lands that just look for one of your duals of your color, those come into play untapped a lot more often than these do, right? Like you're going to have to put these in decks that are happy jamming. They're going to go in 1-color decks a fair bit, and then in 2-color and more decks, you're going to have to be like, hold on, do I want to do this? Because some decks play 15 basic lands of like even of 2 colors sometimes, but then a lot of 3+ color decks play like 3.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that like finding the basic into another basic or finding a basic into a monocolored land is like going to have repercussions
Real
on how you play
consequences,
that game, right? Like,
right.
So monocolored decks for sure. Maybe a couple, like the black one. Like I could see some of them showing up in 2-color decks that already say either my mana is terrible, so what else am I going to do? Like Orzhov,
right?
Or yeah, my mana is fine because I have Birds of Paradise, so I'm going to play this. Like I can afford to get a basic Plains into play because every single land adds green because I need to play Llanowar Elves on turn 1, right? Like spots like that I could see. But
so I just want to caution you, like as you're looking at these cards, like the abilities might seem kind of cool, except for the Fire Nation one, but you're actually probably not going to put them in a lot of decks. But unlike Arena of Glory, or the Spy Master's Vault, where you just like slammed it as soon as you could. So yeah, I just wanted to have that thought shared. Okay, overall thoughts.
Yeah, I'll start with you, Nelly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool new cards. Basically, this set it has like a big secret layer worth of solid cards that we're going to be aware of going forward, right? New Time Twister, okay? New Weird Blood Moon, legendary Gutter Snipe, but it's a 2/2 first strike.
Yeah. We got Bird. We got Mole Bear.
Exactly. Like there are a handful of cards that matter, and I don't know. I'm going to care more about the limited for my own personal interaction with the IP. I am a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon show.
Sure.
I'm stoked that this is happening in general, and by the time I've drafted it 3 times, I'll probably feel like they either did a good job or not. I'm not going to probably have to judge how my own personal emotional reaction with the IP is handled for the Highlander cards that make it through. That's me. That's how I work with UB.
So we got back-to-back UB here of Spider-Man into Avatar. And Spider-Man was interesting because I feel like people were really angry about Spider-Man, but the set was kind of pushed for us. Like it had a lot of
a bunch of cards that mattered.
It had a lot of really, really good cards that mattered, like big winners being like D&T and stuff like that, D&T modified, etc. Now we have Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I think people are less angry about, but the cards are not going to make as much of an impact. So it's kind of a weird spot for me to be in as a person who's just like, yay, right? I don't know. I'm going to play these cards. They're going to make me happy. There's fewer things. I mean, I'm excited to dick around with earthbending and lands specifically. I seem to be the person sort of the highest on that mechanic in this room. And I might even go through some of the commons and uncommons just to see if there's weirdo niche interactions that we didn't cover specifically around that mechanic. Because there could be some weirdo niche interaction like, but what if What if I made my deck worse for this one cute play?
I'm hoping we missed 1 or 2 cards, honestly.
Oh, I mean,
that'd be great to find out, because like we went through and it's like these ones, they seem worth at least talking about. But maybe there's a couple that are actually like we undervalued earthbending 1 on a card or something.
Yeah, I'm also just a curious sake of being like, what's the payoff for Lessons going to be in a little bit, right? Because this is Wheeler's shaking his head, because obviously Lessons were introduced with Strixhaven, and that was a core part of like the identity of that set, and now they're.
Oh, for any Wizards employees watching, I was shaking my head, not related to what Serge is saying, just entirely within the context of Avatar.
Sure, of
Great,
course,
thank you. Okay, good.
Of course. What else would it be?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Wheeler.
There are 5 cards that we'll be playing next year, and that's cool. I don't know. I am going to save my thoughts on this until some time in the future, so as to not end my career. No, there are cards in this set that are fun and powerful.
Yep.
Like genuinely powerful. Nothing really stands out to me other than like a handful of cards as being like, oh yeah, I'm going to lose to that. Like the Conqueror guy, I'm going to lose to that card in Rakdos, right?
Sure.
Like, you know, there are some cards like that I imagine we will still be playing next year. A lot of this does feel, they do feel like we get caught up because it's a new version of blank, or it has a similar effect to this other card. But then I imagine we're going to be like missing like that bird, the Graveyard Trespasser bird.
Yeah.
Like I imagine you're going to play that card and you'll be like, oh wait, I really liked the life gain and the ward of Graveyard Trespasser.
Also, like Graveyard Hate has never been at more of a premium than ever in the format.
Yeah, so, chances are you play both.
Yep.
But if a newer card comes around that is like, really good, that's Graveyard Hate.
Sure.
You cutting Trespasser, or you cutting the bird?
Right.
Here's a question for the two of you. We have talked at previous sets of where we've had, 2 or 3 set episodes where there's a lot of cards to talk about, but we haven't been thrilled about it. And our conclusion is, hey, this set isn't for our format, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have arguably one of the weakest sets in terms of Canadian Highlander impact, do you still agree with that? You're like, well, hold on, no. We want more for us,
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree with it more and more as time goes by, and each year there are more Magic sets than the previous year. I already still feel like for the pace of Magic releases, it's hard for me to stay on top of what's supposed to go into my Canadian Highlander decks. And so a set being like, hey, that adorable TV show from the mid-2000s, like, you only need to pick up, like, 10 cards, basically. Like, 20 if you want to get spicy. Like, that's great for me. I love that. I'm happy to go buy those 10 cards.
My primary formats are, like, Cube and Canlander and some Commander, and I haven't made a new Commander deck, or I haven't made a Commander deck with a new Legend for, like, 2 years. And it's like, great, I'll add 3 cards that I want to, I don't know, try and win a tournament with. I will say there are more cards. I went into this being like, yo, dog, the set sucks. Like, it's legit real bad. And, you see the 37 cards or whatever we talked about. You're not seeing the other 200 cards.
Sure.
That just like so many rares that I looked at. I'm like, what?
Right.
Right.
Not for us. Not for this.
But I will say, after a second viewing and talking about it more, there are cards where I'm like, okay, I'm not bringing this to win an event, but like this adds a genuine competitive approach to certain decks, or has like an edge in certain archetypes that are competitive. Like I'm never going to tell you Bant Blink is a top 5 archetype in the format,
right?
But being like, okay, well, that deck got Quantum Riddler, and there's some like good cards from Spider-Man, and like, yeah, I guess maybe I want to try this Aang or whatever, right? Like, there are some cards I'm more excited about now, I guess I should say.
I'm legitimately curious if this Black-White Aristocrats deck is something we're still doing next year, and assuming the archetype still sticks around as like a way to play the Aristocrat strategy without exposing yourself too much to Blood Moons. If we're still playing the cards from Avatar next year in that deck, because maybe the archetype will survive, but these cards won't.
No.
All right, and on
his
that
career's
note,
over.
wait. And on that note, let's call it here on our Avatar, The Last Airbender set review. Thank you so much for watching. A reminder that everything that we do is brought to you by you. We support the Patreon over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. North 100 is also sponsored by our good friends over at Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/LRR. It's an affiliate code. It lets them know that we sent you. Use that code when you buy your Avatar cards. I've been Serge. I've been joined by Nelly.
Hey, I was here.
A Wheeler.
Yep.
Still got me. And a shout out to our board, James, for running tech all day.
That was me.
Who said that? Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
My cabbages!
My cabbages!